So, Paris Saint-Germain, like, you could tell they were shocked. You could tell they were shocked. You can tell the way they approached the game, they were shocked with how well Chelsea played. You could tell. Like, Luis Enrique, Luis Enrique all the time was drinking water and he was like, he was shaking his head and you're like, what's going on? I had the same feeling. Don't get me wrong. I don't know what's going on. Like I didn't expect this Chelsea. I didn't expect Chelsea to be this really good. Yes, it's a final. Anything can happen. But if anybody before the game told me that Chelsea gonna win 3-0 against Paris Saint Germain, I'd be like, what in the world you are living in? What in the world are you living in? There's no way that Chelsea, with the quality of the players they have compared to Paris Saint Germain, with the way the Paris Saint Germain are playing, the way the Paris Saint Germain winning trophies and destroying every team, that Chelsea are going to beat the 3-0. But this is the beauty of football. You never know. And Paris Saint Germain, like, you can tell that they got rattled. They got rattled. I mean, they were fighting with the players. Joe Neves, like, he was pulling the hair off. Cucurella got sent off. And you saw after the game that Luis Enrique, the guy punched or pushed João Pedro. You can tell PSG, they got so rattled. They didn't expect this from Chelsea. They got so rattled. They didn't expect this. They thought I bet you that before the game they thought like, Chelsea, come on, we're Paris Saint-Germain, we're the champions of Europe, we won everything, we destroyed every team, come on, this is easy, man. This is easy. Nobody can beat us. We are Paris Saint-Germain. We are the powerhouse of Europe right now. We're the powerhouse of the world right now. But when you have that complacency, that's when results like this happen to Paris Saint-Germain. And that's a result. That's a harsh lesson they got. A harsh lesson that yes, you can be the best team in the world. You can be playing amazing football, whatever you like, but you need to be also careful. And Paris Saint-Germain were not careful in this game. And people saying that maybe Paris Saint-Germain were tired. I don't buy too much that of an excuse. I don't buy that much. It's not an excuse. The way yes, you could say they're tired, but Chelsea have had a long season as well. Come on, like let's not act like one team has had a long season and the other team has not had a long season. So you could tell that Paris Saint-Germain, they got shocked by Chelsea's performance. And what I would say about Paris Saint-Germain is that they, in the Champions League, when they won the Champions League, they were beating Liverpool, Aston Villa and Arsenal. And they did really well in those three games. Maybe except Aston Villa's second leg where they were a bit like, they were a bit, they got away with it, I would say, in the second leg. But they didn't like destroy those three teams. They played really well and they were better than Arsenal and Liverpool. But they didn't absolutely destroy them. They were like winning on penalties against Liverpool. They were scraping against Aston Villa. They won 2-1 or 1-0 against Arsenal. And it seemed like they were saving their peak towards the end, towards the final, to winning the Champions League. And they saved their peak and they won the final against Inter, and it should have been more. Whereas in this Club World Cup, it feels like they didn't save their peak. They showed their. I think maybe they showed their peak too early in this competition. By winning 4-0 against Atletico, winning 4-0 against Inter Miami, winning 2-0 against Bayern Munich despite having 2 red cards, winning 4-0 against Real Madrid. It seemed like they showed their peak too early. It seemed like. Yes, I know they won against Bayern Munich when they had so many difficult circumstances going against them, but they also showed their huge peak against Atletico, Inter Miami, Real Madrid, particularly with the quality players they have, with the experience they have. It seemed like maybe they showed too much. They showed like their peak too early, maybe, because that's what one of my friends told me after they won the Champions League, is that they saved their peak towards the end. And you have to say they didn't do that in this Club World Cup. Listen, I'm not saying they should have won 1-0 against Real Madrid. They should have won 1-0 against Inter Miami. They should have win on penalties against Bayern Munich. No, I'm not saying that. But it felt like they showed their peak too early. And Chelsea, when you look at all the games they played, yes, they were playing as Brazilian sides against teams you could say they should win, but you could tell like against Benfica. They were winning 1-0, but then they had a 2-hour delay, and then they conceded, and they could have lost the game. Against Palmeiras, they beat them 2-1, but it could have. Chelsea played really well in that game. Fluminense, Chelsea looked good as well, but Fluminense had good chances to score. Like Chelsea in those three games, they were decent, they were good, but they were not like outstanding, world class, world beater team. The team nobody can stop them, and maybe they were saving their peak towards the end. Yes, people can say, oh, but they were playing against teams they should win and etc. But yeah, but you've got to beat what's in front of you, and I think Chelsea did that quite well. And you can tell that Chelsea saved their peak towards the end, and they managed it. They psychologically, mentally, and physically they prepared for this game amazingly well. So credit to Maresca and credit to his players. Fantastic. But like I said, this is a harsh lesson that Luis Enrique and Paris Saint-Germain faced. That when you're complacent, this is what happens to you. Mendes, I thought he had a very poor game. I mean, all the goals that Chelsea scored that come from his side, and the second goal he was attacking too much, and that's why PSG were all over the place defensively, and there were so many spaces for Chelsea to pass and shoot. Hakim, I don't think he had a good game. The midfield of Paris Saint-Germain, I thought they got absolutely cooked by Caicedo. Joe Neves didn't have a good game. I thought Desai Doué had a decent game. He tried to do some things, like tried to shoot and try to do something. Tried to make something happen. But Dembele and Kvaratskhelia, I thought they looked really quite disappointing. Players coming with the bench, not so much from them. So this is a harsh lesson that Paris Saint-Germain got. Listen, I'm not saying Paris Saint-Germain right now they are a rubbish team. They're still the best team in Europe right now. They're still the best team in the world, and they won the Champions League for a reason. They didn't win the Champions League by an accident. They won the treble. They got to the Club World Cup final, and they should win the Super Cup against Tottenham. But we said also the same thing in this game, that they shouldn't win against Chelsea. So they've won. They've won. They're going to win absolutely almost everything except this one. But this is this one game that can hit you very fast, like Leverkusen in 23-24 season, when they absolutely destroyed everybody, went unbeaten. But one game, absolutely shocked. It seemed like Bayer Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso got surprised, was against Atalanta in the Europa League final, and this was similar. This is a bit similar. Yes, Europa League and Champions League and Club World Cup finals are different, obviously, but it's a bit similar to Paris Saint-Germain, that they want absolutely destroy everybody. They won everything. They were unbeatable. They were invincible. But when it comes to this game, they got battered. They got a harsh lesson, and it doesn't take away from the brilliant season they had. But sometimes in football you cannot be complacent, and if you get complacent, then you'll get hugely punished, and that's what happened to Paris Saint-Germain. And I would like also Luis Enrique to be a bit more humble in losing as well, because to slap the face of João Pedro. I mean, come on, that's not cool. I mean, for a manager to do that, players, of course, we've seen players do that in the past, and it's not great. Don't get me wrong, it's not great, it's not acceptable, and they should get red cards. But at the same time, it happened before. I don't remember a manager before did that. Maybe Jose Mourinho when he poked the eye of Tito Telenova, and he did something to Okumburuk, the Galatasaray manager. I don't remember what he exactly did to him, but he did something. He did something. He did something to him. Maybe to his ears. I don't exactly remember. But anyway, this was said. Luis Enrique was doing some Jose Mourinho stuff, like poking people eye, punching people, slapping people in the face. Like, what are you doing, mate? Like, he should face huge consequences for that, because he can't do that. You can't do that. That's not acceptable. People say, "Oh, João Pedro dived, etc." I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that. Lots of PSG players were going at him, and I don't know what was Luis Enrique doing. He should be a bit more humble in losing. And listen, he's done a fantastic job. He's a great manager, but he should be a bit more humble. And he didn't show humble and class. And particularly in that press conference, he said, "Oh, we need to watch the game back. We're not 100% sure if Chelsea were better than us." Like, come on, be more humble in losing, instead of being this sore loser. And that's what Luis Enrique was. And yes, at times you're a bit angry, or frustrated. But at times, say, "Oh, congratulations to Chelsea, they played amazing well, they're better than us." But by the reactions of Luis Enrique and the PSG players, you can tell they didn't expect this at all from Chelsea. I'm not saying they expected to. I'm not saying they thought Chelsea were rubbish. No, I'm pretty sure of that. But you can tell they didn't expect this from Chelsea. They really didn't expect this, and they didn't expect Chelsea to handle the press of Paris Saint-Germain. To handle the press of Paris Saint-Germain, they you can tell they didn't expect that, and Chelsea handled it fantastically well. Yes, PSG players and attackers were pressing them, but Chelsea did it very well, playing long balls, like I said, by Sanchez, and exploiting the weakness of Paris Saint-Germain's defense. So but yeah, huge kudos to Chelsea. Congratulations for winning the Club World Cup. They've won everything now, Chelsea. They've won everything. Like what they can't do. But yeah, so congratulations. And this is going to give a huge confidence to the Chelsea players and Arsenal America that they can compete with the big. They can do it against anybody. Because we've said, I heard some Chelsea fan before the game saying that the last time they played this kind of game against a big team in this kind of jeopardy was 3 years ago against Real Madrid in the second leg of the Champions League. Like 3 years ago, that's a long time. But they showed like really cojones in that game, and they showed really like they can compete with anybody. So I'm excited to see what Chelsea can do for this upcoming season. Listen, I still think they need to fix some problems. Yes, defensively and goalkeeper Sanchez, they were amazing in this game, but that's one game. Can they do it consistently? Let's see. I still think they need to fix the problems defensively, and they need to fix problems in the goalkeeper if they want to win the Premier League, because the Premier League is a marathon, it's not a sprint. You cannot rely on one game. It's a 38 game campaign. So if they fix the defensive problems and the goalkeeper, I think they have a great chance of competing for the title with Manchester City and Liverpool. So, kudos to Chelsea. And they've signed great attackers like the Lap and João Pedro. João Pedro, I mean, he joined Chelsea a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and then the first two games scoring 2 against Palmeiras, goal against Paris Saint-Germain in the final. He made a great impact, and for sure he's going to be. And Chelsea are not going to be short in goals, because the previous season Chelsea have had problems in scoring goals. But the players they have, Cole Palmer, the Lap, João Pedro, Neto, they're surely not going to have problems in scoring. That's for sure. So, yeah. Well done to Chelsea. Congratulations, and harsh lesson that Paris Saint-Germain got. And by the way, what was Donald Trump doing? I'm sorry, but I like him as a person because he's funny and his character, etc. But what is he doing? What's he doing? Like being in the Chelsea players when they lift the trophy. What is he doing? You just say hi, congratulations, well done. But no, it's Donald Trump. He has to be the center of attention, doesn't he? What's he doing? Like clapping, and you can tell like the other Chelsea players were like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Cole Palmer looked at them and they're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing here? Like, what are you doing? Why are you here?" Like, honestly, like, what? Like, yes, just clap them and you don't always have to make it about yourself. But because it's FIFA and the money, etc. It's for them. It's the moment to shine. But anyway, congratulations to Chelsea for winning the Club World Cup, and now I get to rest a little bit. See you guys for next time. See you next week when there will be some more transfer news. I'm pretty sure I'm going to talk about. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. See you next week, and I wish you have a great day. Bye.